How's it going, everyone? I'm Solarbacca for you guys today of item guide for Gangplank in the new season. So a lot of changes happened to champions, to items, to runes, and I'm here to cover all of that. If you guys like this video and this ended up helping you, shoot me a follow, twitch.tv/Solarbacca, like the video, and comment down below what type of content you'd like to see next. We're streaming this live at twitch.tv/Solarbacca, so if you want to see how these guides get made, just hop on over to the stream. With that being said, let's get into it. First thing we're going to cover are starting options for Gangplank. So I'm going to address one thing very quickly, and that's Mana Crystal. Mana Crystal just got buffed from 250 gold to 300 gold. The second change that happened is that Sapphire Crystal's mana also went up from 250 to 300 mana. Now, why is this significant? For those of you who were following me on my YouTube videos, you noticed that we were going cloth armor into some matchups like Tryndamere. Cloth armor sells for 210 gold. So now that Sapphire Crystal also sells for 200 gold, you're able to start lane with Sapphire, sell it on the third wave, and if you have good farm, then you'll be able to buy a Sheen. If you crash on the fourth wave, you'll also be able to sell it for Sheen. It also allows you to spam Q in lane and also have more oranges. So if you're in a matchup that's getting a little bit more rough, Sapphire Crystal will help you to get more oranges, and you'll also be able to Q spam people. Now, this is significant because there's a lot of sustain with D-Shield and with Second Wind that being able to take Grasp and use more than 5 Qs in a laning phase is significant. Also, Biscuits were nerfed. Biscuits no longer give you any mana in laning phase. So getting mana from something like Sapphire Crystal is so insanely valuable to the point that you do not need to go moat start anymore. It was something that was huge on my channel for about 2 weeks, and it was good. However, moat, the problem with moat is that you didn't have any agency in the lane. You were at the mercy of the opponent. But with Sapphire Crystal, you have control of the lane because you're able to Q spam, you're able to farm minions, you have more oranges. Now, some of you have been asking me, why not go Tear of the Goddess? And the reason why you don't go Tear is because Manamune sucks. Gangplank doesn't want raw items. What he wants is stats and then special effects. What's a special effect? Complete Trinity, your Sheen proc is stronger. Opportunity, you get so much lethality, you have movement speed to be able to utilize your barrels better, to combo better, and then you get the burst of movement speed on takedowns. You like perks. Gangplank likes perks. So, that is why you don't build Tear of the Goddess, because Manamune does not give you any perks, and you want to be able to have items that are not just stats, but they also have special effects. So, Tear of the Goddess, not a very good start. For another reason is that it sells for 280 gold. So that means you're losing out on 120 gold, whereas if you start Sapphire, you only lose 90 gold, I believe it is. Yeah, you only lose 90 gold because it sells for 210. So that is the difference between you getting Sheen or not getting Sheen on the third or fourth wave. So don't go Tear of the Goddess. It sucks. Next, D-Shield. Take this into any matchup you feel like you're going to struggle hardcore, but I would heavily suggest that you start off with Sapphire Crystal, then rather than defaulting to D-Shield, because I do think Sapphire Crystal is the truth. Next, we're going to talk about, so D-Shield, the only matchup I can imagine you taking D-Shield into over Sapphire is Rumble. If you're into Rumble, I think D-Shield's the only matchup you're going to need it. Secondly, people ask, when should I go refillable? When should I go 1 pot? When should I go 0 pot with Sapphire Crystal? Here's what I've been doing. I've been going Sapphire Crystal, and I've been going refillable potion into any lane I need to fight. Your Fioras, your Camille's, your Yones, your Yasuo's, your Aatrox's top lane, your Akali's. Any of those matchups, Sapphire Crystal, and go refillable. If you're not fighting as hard, Dr. Mundo. Dr. Mundo is a matchup. I'm trying to think of other matchups that would allow you to go 0 pot, but Dr. Mundo is a big one that's kind of meta right now. You don't need to go a potion into Dr. Mundo. So you can save that money and get an earlier Sheen. So I would go refillable into any matchup that you're going to fight, and then 0 pot or 1 pot if you are, if you're not going to fight at all. And then, and then refillables for anything that you are going to be fighting. All right, so that's refillable. Next, we have Longsword. Longsword is to any matchup where you're going to fight, but you also need raw AD. So an example of this would be an example of this would be Aurelia. So when you fight Aurelia, you need that AD, you need that damage early on. That Sapphire Crystal Q spamming is not going to give you, because those champions are going to engage on you hardcore. So I would recommend Longsword start specifically into Aurelia, and I think pretty much everything else you can just go Mana Crystal into. Another champion that you might want to go Longsword into would be like Vayne top. If you're playing against range top laners, then you could go Longsword, but I still prefer Mana Crystal over everything. So Longsword only into Aurelia, Sapphire Crystal into everything else. D-Shield, if you feel like you are struggling really hard as a Gangplank player and you won't be able to find success with Mana Crystal and you're like, I really need to survive this lane, I need D-Shield, then go D-Shield. Otherwise, Sapphire Crystal and refillable into most lanes, and Sapphire Crystal in 1 pot or 0 pot into farm lanes such as Dr. Mundo. Cloth Armor start, no longer needed. You don't need Cloth Armor start anymore because Sapphire Crystal gets the job done better. Next, with the item nerfs, Trinity is garbage. Trinity is hot trash. Don't complete it if you don't need to. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean specifically into AD heavy team compositions, into your Viegos, into your Kanes, into your anything that wants to fight, your Xin Zhao, J4, these champions in the jungle, in addition to the Aurelia, in addition to that Fiora, that Yone, that Yasuo, you always want to go Sheen, Phage, Plated Steel Caps. Trinity Force completion is the equivalent to 3.5 longswords. I cannot underestimate how garbage this item is. Do not complete Trinity Force into AD top and jungle. Now, do not complete it right away is what I should be saying, because Plated Steel Caps is just so much better. And if you play Gangplank, you know this. You're playing Gangplank, you got Trinity Force, the Aatrox has a Dirk. Who do you think wins? The Aatrox. He has a Dirk. Now, if you have Plated Steel Caps, you got movement speed to dodge his Qs, and you could also tank him. Your Renekton's. Who do you think wins? The Pickaxe Renekton or the Trinity Force Gangplank? The Renekton wins. However, if you have Sheen, Phage, Plated Steel Caps, all of a sudden, you're beating the Renekton. So, summary, if you're into an AD, top and jungle, your Xin and your Aurelia, your Fiora and your Kane, whatever it is, Sheen, Phage, Plated Steel Caps. Trinity sucks. Don't rush it into those team compositions. Next, this is your core build. It's the honest build that we've been going for a while. Trinity, Opportunity, and this is my slight adjustment that not many people are doing, but I think is the best. Gangplank spikes the hardest at 3 items. It doesn't matter if you're in Challenger, Bronze, Iron. Gangplank spikes the hardest, fastest at 3 items. So you're going to go Trinity, Opportunity, LDR, or Mortal Reminder, whichever one you need, and then Double Cloak. Here's the reason why you go Double Cloak. 55% crit chance. You only need one of your 3 combos, right? Because that's usually how Gangplank's going to be comboing later on. You're going to have 5 barrels. If you have a barrel in the bush already, then you have 6 effective barrels because the cooldown comes up for that 5th barrel again. So typically, you're going to have 2 or 3 combos in a team fight. If one of those crits, it's usually GG at this point if you're playing Gangplank and you made it to 3 items. That's why Double Cloak is so important, because the drop off from 3rd item to 4th item is insanely huge. Because you're going to be building Infinity Edge, and Infinity Edge is so expensive because Riot nerfed it. They nerfed the AD. They raised the cost by 200 gold, I believe it is. Yeah, really, really disgusting stuff. So that's why Double Cloak is just becoming even better than it was last patch. 3 items, Double Cloak, finish your IE, and then get your Shield Bow. Last item, build Phantom Dancer. Collector sucks. Don't build Collector. Collector, for those of you who don't know, the lethality got nerfed and the price got increased. Yeah, so this is as much as an Infinity Edge from the last patch. For 60 AD, 10 lethality. Sucks. Don't build it. This is your core build. Now, into those matchups, you remember how I was telling you against that AD top jungle, your Renektons, your Fioras, your Yasuos, the Xin, the J4? Remember those matchups? Another one is Riven. Shield Bow second is going to help you 1v1 all of those matchups. Shield Bow recently got buffed to where basically upon completion, instead of getting what used to be like a 400 shield, you're getting more like a 500 shield now. So it's really, really good into those matchups. With items also being nerfed, you're not going to be taking as much damage. So more durability is going to help you to get more passives off, more barrels, and essentially more damage. So those burst characters, the Renekton, the Riven, the Yasuo, whatever it is, the not so much Yasuo, but Yone, you go this build, you'll never die. And you might be asking, well, what do I build after Shield Bow? Honestly, I think after Shield Bow, you can either build... I think you could build Essence Reaver, but I think the main thing you should go with is just the rest of the build. So you're replacing Opportunity with Shield Bow, and then you're going to go into your Armor Pen item, IE, and then after that, you could build Essence Reaver. Next, we have your build against high HP compositions. So the current meta right now that's running rampant, as you all know, is Heartsteel. Heartsteel is disgusting. If you haven't had it in your games, you will get it in your games. So, this is a build to fight the Heartsteel Shen, the Heartsteel Aurelia I played against, the Heartsteel Leona, the Heartsteel Rel. I don't know what's going on, but everybody has Heartsteel fever. This is the way you counter it. Your crits are not going to do enough damage. So, you're going to crit, and you're going to crit them for 1200 damage, for 700 damage. They have 9k HP. It doesn't do anything. How do you counter it? You're going to play around your ultimate. Trinity Force, Shojin for the 12% increase on all of your abilities, including your ult. Liandry's. You do this, you'll be melting everybody's health bar. I promise you, you will have the most damage every single game if you go this build. Into high HP comps. Don't just build it into like 5 squishies. You build this exclusively against high HP. Cho'Gath, Leona, Skarner, Wukong, compositions, you counter them by just pressing one button with your ult, right? At 3 items. You will hard counter them. You build Sork shoes because you don't need lucidity boots, and you're not building plated, you're not building swifties, you're not building merc treads. Your ult is all of your damage. Well, your ult is a good chunk of your damage. That's why you're building Sork shoes. Horizon Focus just for more amplified damage, and it also makes your barrels and your Q do more damage, and your ult does more damage as well. And then Shadow Flame to finish it all off and get them low. You could replace Shadow Flame with, well, no, just go Shadow Flame. I think Shadow Flame is probably the best in slot here. Now, this is the other core build that you have. So you have the Trinity Opportunity build, and then I'm gonna put I'm gonna adjust the name of this, and I'm gonna call it Core Build 2. Yeah, I'm going to call it Core Build 2. Actually, no, we'll just keep it as is. So this is the build that you go when you're allowed to scale. Let's imagine that you are against 1 or 2 tanks. You're against the Dr. Mundo top lane. You're against the Leona support. That sounds pretty tanky, right? But then their jungler is something like Talia jungle. She doesn't have a high HP bar. Syndra, Ashe, right? Those are all 3 champions that don't have high HP, are squishy, and they're not... You're not going to build anything. You're not going to gain anything from going something like Liandry's. So, in those games that you're allowed to scale because of your top lane matchup, like Ornn, Dr. Mundo, Poppy, Shen, right? And they only have one other tank on their team, like Leona, Rel, Nautilus. This is the best build to go. So you're going to go Trinity, Essence Reaver, Armor Pen, IE, and then after IE, you can continue with the other items like Shield Bow and PD. They're not listed here. And then your boots are going to be either Swifties or Lucidity. Lucidities did get nerfed. They did get nerfed by 5 ability haste, but the cost was also brought down. Yeah, Gangplank's boots don't matter much. If you're not against that full AD team comp that I told you about, or that AD top and jungle, Gangplank's boots literally don't mean much. And when I say that, I mean the ones that you do purchase. Swifties can help. You know, at the end of the day, Swifties are good. They do help, but there's not really that big of a difference between Swifties and Lucidity in this day and age. So next, we have the 4 Fun Tank GP build. You're against 5 AD champions or 4 AD characters and 1 AP. This build is gonna make you love playing League of Legends. This build is cinema. This build, you're probably gonna be happy for the first day in your life. You got Trinity, plated steel caps, and this is where the fun begins. Unending Despair. Unending Despair, the longer you're in combat, the more you're in combat, every 5 seconds you're gonna heal. Spirit Visage to make that heal bigger. Sterax afterwards. I was thinking about putting Sterax beforehand, like here, but I genuinely believe that Unending Despair and Plated is enough for the full AD team, and then Spirit Visage is just good on top of that. And then Sterax is amazing. Now, after you get your Sterax, I think Jack Show is best. Because Jack Show is going to give you more armor, more MR, and it also makes you tankier in combat after 5 seconds. So tankier, 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 more shields, more healing, more oranges. And then Rift Maker to stay in combat, gain more healing, and Rift Maker will actually make your Unending Despair heal bigger as well. And then you could also go Titanic Hydra if you'd like, but this is going to be your ideal full build. Try this build against full AD teams or 4 AD champions and 1 AP character, and this will work wonders for you. It's a beautiful build. It'll make you feel very happy. I used to go Fimbulwinter with this build. Tier sucks, unfortunately, so it doesn't work. Your next 4 fun build is going to be AP Gangplank. Lichbane, Malignance. Always get your Sword Shoes after Malignance just to get that stacking MR. It's going to be really, really good. It's going to make your ult do a lot of damage. It's going to do like 1,500 damage at level 11 with Fire at Will ult upgrade. So it's going to do a lot of damage. Leandries, pretty obvious, more burn. Shadow Flame makes the crits, makes your burn crit and makes your ult crit. Storm Surge, because it got buffed, more pen, movement speed. And then you could also buy Void Staff to replace your Sword Shoes. So those are all the builds for Gangplank in the new season. Starting items, builds, everything. Next, we're going to look at runes, all right? Because there's 4 different rune pages you can take. All right, so let's start off with your key rune page, and I think that's going to be, for most of you, Grasp. With Sapphire Crystal start, as I've told you all, you're going to go double adaptive in your runes. You're going to go Grasp, Second Wind, Bone Plating if you're against a champion who all-ins you. Renekton all-ins you. Riven all-ins you. Fiora tends to all-in you. Into those matchups, Bone Plating. Otherwise, go Second Wind. Jax, yeah, Jax is a great example. Go Bone Plating. Otherwise, go Second Wind. Secondary, Absolute Focus and Scorch is really, really good for spamming that Q, making the opponents hate their life. However, there is flexibility. Your secondary tree is flexible for all Gangplank pages. Genuinely. This is what I'm running right now because I like it. But there is not a correct answer for the secondary rune tree on Gangplank. You can run Transcendence and Gathering Storm. You could run Taste of Blood, Treasure Hunter, Ultimate Hunter. You could run Cashback and Triple Tonic. However, this is what I would suggest to all of you watching this video, and this is what I believe to be pretty strong on Grasp Gangplank. So we're going to name this Grasp GP, and then we're going to move on to the next page. Next, we're going to talk about First Strike. So, Gangplank is a lot harder to play. We all know this. Gangplank is so much harder to play with the new changes. Now, here's why. Gangplank, more than ever, is such a sensitive character. If you fall behind early, your game is done. You're useless. You can't do shit. The champ is terrible if you die once before 8 minutes. The champ is completely griefing if you die 2 times before 8 minutes. So, how can we snowball hard? First Strike. Now, First Strike isn't very good, the rune itself. You get plus 10 gold here and there. You get maybe like an extra 5 gold if you throw a barrel combo in there. Not very good. However, that's not why we take Inspiration Tree, and that's not why we take First Strike. The reason why we take Inspiration Tree is for cashback. You're going to get at least 200 gold every time you purchase an item. Consider it like Futures Market in a way. It's like Futures Market in the sense that you're going to get to your second item and your third item faster as a result of cashback. Next, Biscuit Delivery. So listen up. When you go Sapphire Crystal start, right, you have infinite mana. Now, to help with that, you have Refillable Potion. However, if you want to be ballsy and go no pot start, just Sapphire Crystal, you can go Biscuits. Because Biscuits got buffed. Biscuits got buffed to where they restore more missing health now. They restore 12% of your missing health. So at level 4, you're going to have about 900 health, about 950 health-ish, level 4, level 5. So this will restore, once you're low, it'll restore on average about 90 health and also increase your health permanently by 30. You get this at 2 minutes and you get it at 4 minutes. So that's about the 4th wave. As you're crashing the 4th wave, you'll have 2 biscuits. So you'll have about 180 health to play with extra if you go biscuits. That's the equivalent to about 2 refillable potions. So if you go Mana Crystal, no pot, biscuits will help you get through laning phase. If you're saying Solarbacca, I'm going to go refillable potion, I don't need biscuits, go triple tonic. Triple tonic will grant you 40 gold, which will allow you to get that sheen earlier in lane. So if you're running refillable or running one pot, no pot, triple tonic will give you 40 gold at level 3. And that'll allow you to miss minions, maybe farm 15 out of the first 19 minions and still be able to afford your sheen. I can't stress enough how important it is to get your sheen early in this day and age of League of Legends, where sheen is no longer 700 gold, it's 900 gold, and where every champion can beat the crap out of you and you have nothing to show for it but pressing Q. So triple tonic is going to be generally your option to everybody watching this video. You want to be a little bit ballsy, you can run biscuit, no pot, sapphire crystal, you could do that. But this is what I recommend everyone to run. Next, don't run Jack of Trades because we're going Sapphire Crystal start. And Cosmic Insight, more TPs, more flashes, always going to be good. Secondary, this is my favorite page to run. We're going to run Attack Speed, Adaptive, and Health. Next, we're going to run Absolute Focus and Gathering Storm. Like I said, there's no correct answer, though. For secondary runes on Gangplank, there's not a correct answer. Let's say you want to run First Strike into Riven. Riven's an all-in champion. Bone Plating, Demolish. You're playing against Jax. Bone Plating, Demolish. Bone Plating, Overgrowth. You have these options. Let's say you want Haste. Legend Haste, Presence of Mind. Legend Haste, and Cut Down. One thing I will say, be careful of running Legend Haste. Legend Haste is a rune that you will finish at 17 minutes in a game if you die twice. Now you might be saying, where are you pulling these numbers from? Because Legend Haste is very reliant on you either getting kills, assists, cannon minions, grubs. So basically, you're not going to stack this. In a normal game, you'll probably stack this at like 13, 14 minutes. That's a long time. If you're behind, it's going to take longer than that. So I would say if you take Legend Haste, just be aware that it takes time to come online and that you're not going to feel the results right away. So I would run Absolute Focus, Gathering Storm. If you want to take Transcendence and Gathering Storm, go for that as well. But this is what my main page is. It's balls to the walls, all damage, get 4 items at 18 minutes. Next, we have Dark Harvest. If you're playing APGP, don't only go Dark Harvest. Don't go First Strike, don't go Grasp. If you're playing AP Gangplank, only go Dark Harvest. You can go Taste of Blood if you'd like, but I would prefer you guys go Cheap Shot. Just nuke somebody with a barrel, nuke somebody with an ult. Eyeball Collection, Ultimate Hunter, pretty self-explanatory. And then Cashback, Jack of all trades. You're going Jack of all trades because you're going to go D-Blade start, most likely. If you're going AP Gangplank, you could go Sapphire Crystal, but I think it's best if you go D-Blade because, well, honestly, you could go Sapphire Crystal, but I think if you run D-Blade, you'll just get more haste for your ultimate because you'll be sitting at like 8, 9, 10 stacks. Once you start getting your AP items, as long as you kept your D-Blade, you will reach 10 stacks. So Jack of all trades with AD and AP GP, it's always just going to be good to have, in my opinion. But yeah, this is what I would run for AP Gangplank. This, double adaptive, health, and yeah, that's my AP GP page. Next, we have Fleet Footwork. So this is for your matchups that are like Garen, Aatrox. This is an alternative. You should always go Sapphire Crystal start, but let's say Solarbacca, I don't want to be aggressive. I don't want to have lane dominance with Grasp. I want to scale because I know that if I can land my barrels later on, I can carry. If you're that player, go Fleet. Go Fleet, Presence of Mind, Legend Haste, Cut Down. This is the lowest risk Gangplank setup. So if you're somebody who wants to have an even laning phase, whether you're against Yasuo, whether you're against Shen, whether you're against Janna top, I don't care what you're playing against, but if you're somebody who says, I always want to go even, this page is for you. Because when you scale, you will hit like a truck. You will scale really hard. You got 15 haste here. You got 10 haste from Transcendence. That's 25 haste from runes alone. That's a lot. And then you got Gathering Storm and you got Cut Down. This is a really, really, really good scaling page. So if you're somebody who's not the Grasp guy yet, you're saying, I need to learn. I don't want to go First Strike. I don't want to go Grasp. I want something super reliable and solid. Go Fleet. So this is the final page for the runes. yeah, you're going to be running fleet footwork. And like I said, your secondary page is flexible. You can build anything. You can build Taste of Blood and Treasure Hunter secondary, Ultimate Hunter. You can do Jack of Trades. You could do Cashback and Triple Tonic. It truly is up to you. But these are the main runes. This is what I believe you guys should be taking in your games. And yeah, with that being said, it took a lot of time and it took a lot of stress to make this video because Gangplank has not been he's been changing so much recently, and the game has been changing to where it's not Gangplank friendly, and it hasn't been for a while, that you have to work extremely hard to get the results of a Vladimir flashing in, pressing EQR, and getting a pentakill. Or a Riven flashing it. Nah, let me not shit on Riven. But yeah, Riven flashing in EWRQ pentakill. So you gotta work hard, and it ain't easy. But if you guys enjoyed the guide and you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment down below what you want to see next, subscribe, and I wish you all a good luck in your Gangplank journey. Peace.